Hi, and welcome to another edition of Dr. Mill's Message. Have you ever wondered what it would be like if you had to care for an aging parent? Or maybe you are taking care of an aging parent. You know the stress of just even thinking about it. I also know what it's like. My mother died of stage 4 cancer, and her last couple of months, she was at our houses for us to take care of her. I wish, like, I can't even begin to tell y'all what I wish that I would have known Monica. That's my upcoming author coming up in just a minute, because she has a lot of wisdom to share with us. Her book, Caring for Aging Parents, I highly recommend. And once you get to know her, like me, you're going to think so too. So without further ado, I want to welcome Monica Gillum to Dr. Mill's Message. Welcome.
Hello, Dr. Mel.
How are you doing, my love?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. I'm doing well.
Well, let me tell you, I cannot begin. I've read your book, okay? And
Okay.
I cannot begin. I cried in spots. And I was like, why didn't I have access to this years ago? My mother has been deceased 3 years. And it's not easy taking care of an aging parent. And now you're taking care of two, right?
That's correct. I am an only child. My parents are both 82. My mom has dementia. Initially, she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, but I kept saying, I don't think that diagnosis is correct. So I just kept pursuing and, advocating for her, being an advocate for her. And finally, I got a diagnosis of dementia, which is a little bit different. Now, dad has had a series of health challenges. He's a cancer survivor, but he's also had a heart attack and stroke. So it has been a journey. And my goal was to chronicle my experiences to help others along the way. Most people have siblings or family members that could help out, but I literally am an only child. But my mother is also an only child. So
Oh,
our family is extremely small. And I just wanted to share my experience to help someone along the way.
I think that's beautiful. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for that. Because one day I may be taking care of another elder member of my family, and I
Sure.
certainly going to be pulling out that book. So let's just talk a little bit about your journey first.
Geez. Well, about 10 years ago, I remember really well. I was at work and I had dad take mom to the doctor, and he called from the doctor's office, and which wasn't unusual because if I couldn't go with them, accompany them to the doctor, I would say, call me, put the doctor on speaker or FaceTime. And so when dad called, I answered the phone, and the physician, we'd been going to her for several years, and she said, "Hey, I'm noticing some things about your mom. Have you noticed XYZ?" And I said, "No." And so she said, "Well, I'm going to refer her to a neurologist because I think she may be in the beginning stages of Alzheimer's." And so that is when the journey started. And in my family, on both sides, cancer was just so prevalent. So my focus was on cancer. We might make sure we get the pap smears, the mammograms, all of the recommended screenings. But so Alzheimer's, dementia, that wasn't on my radar. So I was caught off guard, really. And so we went to the doctor, and he gave her this diagnosis, and it was a slow process in terms of me needing to contribute and assist them. It was over time. But this last 2 to 3 years has been more of a difficult journey. I was employed full time, but I was on FMLA, intermittent FMLA.
Tell people
And,
what that is. Most people
and
might not know.
intermittent FMLA essentially is when you are able to take time off to care for a loved one. You don't have the consecutive like 6 weeks off, but you take it as needed. And so I was taking intermittent FMLA, and it still wasn't enough. I still was kind of getting side eyed from coworkers because I wasn't always there. And finally, at the end of the school year, I said, I can't, I am not going to be able to keep up at this level because I know the last year I worked, the last 2 years, I know I had to, between doctor's appointments, ER, hospital admissions, I know we had to make about 50 trips in 1 year, if not more.
And that's for both parents, not just one.
That is for both parents.
Yeah.
And so I had to resign my full-time job. And let me tell you, it was it could be a financial challenge if you're deciding to leave your job or reduce your hours. You have to have a plan in place. It's almost like retirement. You just don't wake up and decide to retire. You plan months in advance, or okay, have I paid off this, or can I pay off that? Can I merge this? Because your income will be affected. And for me, I'm also single. So it's not like I had someone say, well, honey, I've got the mortgage, take care of your parents. So it was navigating that. And then I said, well, I don't want to blow through my finances. So let me at least find something part-time.
Well, you were
And so
navigating solo, definitely.
I'm definitely navigating solo. And so that's what I've done. I'm working part-time, and I'm still, caring for my parents on this journey.
Oh, that's beautiful. Now, when did you decide to write your book? Again, it's called Caring for Aging Parents by
Mhm.
Monica Gillum. Now, so again, when did you come up and decide, you know what? I need to share this with somebody, that anybody that would listen or needs it.
Actually, I started writing a book initially about how to successfully run a after-school youth program. I'd done that for several years. I said, let me, a lot of my practices were being used in this particular district, district-wide. I said, this is some great information. But I had this app um, about daily prayer. And I was doing a daily prayer, and it was a minister they were highlighting. And the minister had a quote that said, perhaps, and I'm paraphrasing here, perhaps your greatest pain may be your greatest source of purpose. And
Wow.
it just caused me
I
to
got chills
pause.
with that one. Yeah, that gave me chills, that quote.
Yeah, yeah. And I said, wow, perhaps my greatest source of pain could propel me into my purpose. And I said, there's nothing more painful at this time than watching your parents deteriorate.
Exactly. I've been
It's
there.
yeah. And so it was at that time I said, let me just share my experience. And I started writing. And that's how the book came about.
Oh, when somebody picks up your book, that you want them to get out from it.
I like for them to know that they're not alone.
That's the hardest part. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, and know that there are resources out there. I see my book as a blueprint on how to navigate this successfully. My book, although it's a short read, it's small but mighty, as I refer to it as a small but mighty book. But my book is like a forerunner, right?
Yeah.
It goes and takes the terrain ahead, so those that come behind
Right.
have a smoother journey.
Right. Like that's why I wished I would have had read your book when I was experiencing hospice with my mother, because we chose to keep her at home and she didn't
Right.
want to go into a hospice center. So we had, the bedroom all set up with the medical equipment and, you name it. And when I have two sisters, so they were, great too. But we were all there when my mother took her last breath. And I know for a fact that she went out knowing that she was cared for and loved. And I
Absolutely.
think people that are caregivers, they don't hear enough that they are loved or they're doing a good job. Or, hey, maybe I can come to your house and I'll sit with your parents and you go out to eat, go get pampered, do something.
Mhm.
And I think that's important. Do you?
I do. I think it's very important. As caregivers, I often say I pour into my parents in a caregiving situation, um, and my cup is not full. They don't have the capacity to pour into me.
Right.
But I also say, Dr. Mel, that this is the greatest definition of love is when you pour into someone and don't have any expectation of a return on your investment, right?
Right. Because you know that you're going to be making funeral arrangements.
At some point, you will. At some point, you will. But it is important to, if you do have family members, to at least approach them and ask, whether it's help with taking them to the grocery store, or if not taking them, at least taking the grocery list and picking up some items.
Right.
I still like for mom to get her hair and nails done, and dad still needs a haircut and shave. The trash still needs to be put out. Roll the can to the, curb and pull the can back in. Those are small things. Those are small things that family members or neighbors or church members can help with, even just, going by the pharmacy and picking up the prescription, just some small things to help those of us on a caregiver journey so that we don't become burnout.
What do you do personally for yourself to avoid burnout?
For myself, I like lifting weights, not free weights, but the circuit weights. So I like weight lifting. One of the things I gave up a lot of things, but one of the things I refused to give up was my membership to a local massage, like a massage franchise. I don't
Yeah.
want to say the name because I'm not
Right. No,
promoting
no.
them,
Right.
but I go and get a massage monthly. I'm starting to walk now that it's cooler because I'm in Texas, and then man, that those summers are pretty brutal. So just doing that, I have someone come in from time to time to help around the house because their house is fine. My house looks like a storm has been through here on many days because sometimes I'm just so exhausted till I'm not taking care necessarily of the things around the house like I could, because sometimes I'm just tired. But it's the weightlifting at the local Y. It's the going to get a massage at the massage franchise place just to relax and just getting help around the house.
Right.
Walking,
Yeah,
those are the sort of things that I do.
that's awesome. And let me ask you this. You have a consulting business,
I
correct?
do.
Let's
Yes, I
talk a
do.
little bit about that because I know firsthand what it's like to be a caregiver. And so if I could have reached out and just said, "Hey, Monica, I need some help here. I don't even know where to file for this or file for that for my parents or for this or that or that. Help me, help me." So talk
Right.
a little bit about your services.
That the services are an extension from the book. I didn't want to just write the book and say, okay, that's it, because it's not it. You get the information from the book, you start things to rolling, and then you're like, now what? I still have concerns. Things are still, coming up. I need to address, and I just wanted to have an extension of the book. And so the caregiver-consultant.com is the web address. And
Perfect.
essentially, there's one-on-one consulting for the caregiver or their family members. And they can call, contact me via the website. Just type in your information, contact information, and I'll get back with you. And we can schedule these one-on-one sessions via Zoom.
Just like
And
this.
just like this, just
Okay.
like this, 45-minute sessions, 45-minute to an hour sessions, you
And it's
know,
non-threatening environment when you do it this way.
and a non and the thing about it also as caregivers, we don't have the option of hopping in our cars and driving. Sometimes the family member is in the other room, and
Good
so
point.
we can meet via Zoom while they're in the other room.
Good
And
point.
so you stepping away to go back and check on them and then come back. That's perfectly fine. And so I just am, available to coach individuals and families on this journey, particularly if you're in Texas. If you're in Houston, I've got some local resources. If you're outside of the state, I also have some national organizations for you to contact and join and get some additional information from.
Well, you're one amazing woman, and let me tell you, I have given a lot of thought about you, especially after reading your book and hearing some of your story with your parents. And you have done the world a blessing for caregivers. You really have. And again, her book is called Caring for Aging Parents. And I highly recommend you pick this up. Again, it is available on Amazon, I know for sure, but also
Yes.
her website that she just quoted, and
Mhm.
that you can get it either way. But you know what? Pick up the phone. See how easy she is to talk to? I feel like I've known her all my life. So I highly recommend that. Monica, is there
Absolutely.
anything else you would like to tell us before we shut this one down?
I would. I just want to thank you for this opportunity, Dr. Mel, first of all. And I just want the caregivers out there to know that as a consultant, it is a safe place. And I know this is not easy. And as I talk about in the book, sometimes we feel guilty about the emotions we have, right? It's sometimes there's resentment,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes there's sadness,
Mm-hmm.
grieving over a period of time. You're upset with family because they're not helping as they should. So all of those things we can talk about. And it is a safe place. I always say it's a no judgment zone.
Exactly. And again, I can't thank you enough for that, Monica. And if I'm ever in another situation, you're going to be my first call.
Absolutely.
I know
Thank
where to
you.
find you.
And yes, you do. You
I
do.
know where to find you.
You got a direct line to me.
Exactly. And I just, thank you again. And your book is amazing. I personally, Dr. Mel, give it a 5-star must read review. If you
Thank you,
think
Dr.
that you
Mel.
have to become a caretaker or you're currently a caretaker. And you know
Yes.
what? If you have aging parents, don't wait until you're faced with that decision. Get the book today. Learn what you're about to go into, because there's a lot of conversations that you might want to be able to have with your aging parent before it gets too late.
Can I tell you this?
Yeah.
The late Rosalind Carter, former First Lady,
Yes.
she said there are 4 types of people as it pertains to caregiving. Those who have just come out the caregiving journey, those who are currently on the caregiving journey, those who are approaching the caregiving journey, and those who will need a caregiver for themselves.
Oh, there you go. Amen on that one. And you're right. We're all going to be there someday.
Someday. So pick up the book. Whatever phase or stage you're in, we've got the solution for you.
Absolutely awesome, Monica. I've enjoyed our chat with each other, and I cannot wait to get this up on my blog for my readers. And I hope you get a lot of calls from it, because again, go to her website. I will put it down there in the little link, so you don't have to worry about all that, and I'll even make it clickable for you. So please pick up the book, and thank you, Monica, for just an absolute time we have spent.
Absolutely. Dr. Mel, can I forward my number if they just want to call the office directly?
Well, you tell them right now.
Okay, it is, listen, I'm trying not to mess it up, so I won't be so nervous. 832-303-9402, and that's a direct line to the office.
There you go. So,
Um,
so my dear readers, I love you. And until the next time, I'm Dr. Mel.